What's up, everybody? Welcome back to that Thursday night thing. We're in the house. I'm Mr. U, Herb, and Shane's in the house. What's up, fellas? Good evening to you.
It's just amazing to be on here with Shane.
I want to hear Shane say something. I don't hear anything. He's amazing as well, but I don't hear anything. What's up, Shane? How you doing, man?
I'm here. I'm four horsemen for life, baby. I'm here.
Speaking of that, maybe we talk about that at the end of the show. I just sent Herb a message about that. Okay, but we'll come back to that if I can remember to do it. But glad you guys are in the house with us. We're excited about doing this show Thursdays at 7 p.m. It's been a thrill ride so far. Never a dull moment for all you guys that are out there in the path of this hurricane. I think we're in that same realm right now, so I'm not really sure what's going to be going on within the next 24 hours. So be thinking about your boy. But we'll be walking in safety and wisdom, but we're going to be watching out within the next, especially during the night, but within the next 24 hours, we don't know what's going to be going on out here. So if you guys are in the path, you can make some adjustments and be safe. Please do so. If you're not in the path and it doesn't affect you, please have some compassion for those that are out here in the midst of this, all right? So we appreciate that very, very much. All right, guys. So anything awesome happened last week, that's non-NFL related, before we jump into the show?
Let's get to it.
Copy that. Let's do it. All right, Shane Nelson said, I'll take that as agreement. All right. The other half of the Herb and Raj podcast is in the house. Good evening, sir. And Roll Tide, he is in the house. Man in the comment section for us. One of my best friends. I haven't heard from this person in so long. What's up, Wayne? Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate it. I don't think you've met Shane yet. With Shane, that's West Coast Win. You guys are. I see comments flowing back and forth from her, but great to have you guys connected today. All right, so on a somber note, I want to open up with the news about Mercury Morris. I think maybe Rod, if you want to, you can jump in on that. But I heard about this, I think it was on Tuesday. I could be wrong about that because this week has been really wild. But former Miami Dolphins legend, perfect undefeated season, and I think it was 72, three-time Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, passed away at age 77. What are you guys thinking about that as far as legacy goes? I know people might say use the low-hanging fruit there, but what do you think is the legacy for Mercury Morris? Where if our condolences go out to him and his family, to his family for his loss earlier this week. But what do you think the legacy is for Mercury Morris?
I mean, if you're on the only team to go, and it's kind of funny the way you say it. Or not the way you say it. I mean, like the way you think about it, because there's a lot of us now who are like, oh, you guys are toasting when the last undefeated team loses. It's kind of petty. You know what I mean? So I think the further you get away from it, that's kind of the view. But man, you guys see how it is. It is tough to go undefeated, and have everybody look. And, you get to game 9, you get to game 10. Whoever you're playing at that point wants a piece of you, So to be on that team, to have something to celebrate, something that nobody can take away. And I don't think that's ever going to be broken. I just don't see it now. I mean, we've even added a game. They're trying to add one more. I don't see that ever being broken. So records are made to be broken, and you're part of the one that might not ever fall. So, man, hats off to you for sure.
Absolutely. Shane, what do you think?
I agree with everything Herb said. I also think, of those group of guys that always did that toast, Mercury Morris was always the one that was out front. Like anytime where that happened, they always talk to him first about what do you think about this team that's gone 15-0 and this team is working up to this far. But the other thing I think about is that team was dominant offensively running the ball, and he had a big part of that. And then it was the killer bees and the unknown defense. That Dolphins team was not super loaded where you thought this was like an amazing team that was destined to go undefeated. And like Herb said, I don't think anyone's going to touch it. Being a Patriots fan, I witnessed as the Giants, dominated to make sure that didn't end that way. But the Patriots, even that year, they didn't look, unstoppable.
Yeah.
I wondered if it would be if the Pats were going to do it. I actually thought about it, but I don't want to go into that. That's going to take us to a whole different place. We probably don't need to be going, but shout out to Mercury Morris and the 72 Dolphins. They've done something that I don't think is going to be undone. The Pats came close, but it's really super hard to do that in this. I think in this era, I don't know how you even do it in any era. Really, it's just it was.
Well, you think about this too, man. You get to like 14-0 and 15-0. Let's just say you got that far, right? Now you're even if you did that and you're like, we still got 3 more games, and we're clearly home field advantage whoever, right? You're more concerned with let me rest some guys. Imagine you're in game 17 and all of a sudden I'm like, I got to play my starters because we're going for a record, and Patrick Mahomes gets hurt in game 17. You'll never ever live that down. You know what I mean? So I don't even know that it's possible, not even just from a winning standpoint, but just from a strategic standpoint.
You can't be that close to the finish line and not think about the finish. And undefeated is not the finish; it's the Super Bowl. And you're going to have all your horses. No offense, you're going to have your best guys out there, your healthiest guys out there doing what they do in the biggest game potentially of their career. Because everybody doesn't go to Super Bowl every year. It's very, very rare that it happens for a lot of teams. A lot of teams out here that still haven't gotten Super Bowls yet. Yeah, and they've been in the league for decades. And they haven't been to the Super Bowl yet. It's not that easy. So when you get that close, the undefeated, if that's what you're thinking about, your focus might be trouble. You should think about the Super Bowl and going deep in the playoffs and actually getting to that and winning it, not just having an undefeated season. So just something to think about. As far as the NFL last week, man, I don't know about you guys. I was trying not to text you guys too much. I had other stuff going on, but last week was full of shockers. I mean, I can't recall any time last season where I was shocked that much. We talked NFL all last season like we're doing now. I can't recall any week last season where we had this many shockers in games. Like this is, I know you had at least 1 or 2 takeaways, but I want to hear what shocked you, what did you expect that happened, and what made you scratch your head, what surprised you. Give me some takes on you can use actual games and reference those. What shocked you from week 3? And I'll put that question in the comment section for our listeners too, while you guys are chiming in on that.
You want to go first, Shane?
I can go, yeah. I mean, for me, I think on the negative side, it's what the Bengals have become.
Man,
again, still not protecting Joe Burrow, and they just have looked bad. Like, just a completely different team from what we expected in the beginning. And then on the positive side, Carolina, gets himself off the struggle bus and gets a victory on there. It just proves, in the NFL, there's so many talented players. If you put it together, you're going to have a chance to win games.
Yeah. Man, so the Bengals one was just, it's like, and we actually had a debate about this yesterday. I said, if you had told me the Bengals were going to start off their season with the Patriots, the Redskins, and the Commanders, dating myself there, and the Chiefs, and the Pats and Washington would be at home, I'm like, okay, 2-1, right, at worst, maybe 1-2 because they always start off week 1 bad, right? But I'm not thinking 3-0. And then if you told me, hey, they're going to score 33 against Washington, I'm like, oh, yeah, they took that one. No, you let them score on every possession. You've gone to 0-3. It's just why would they always start slow, but that's a huge hole that you gotta climb out of. And then to your other one with the all of us Alabama people and the Bryce Young supporters, like we took one on the chin this past weekend because we're like, oh. So I don't really want to talk about it. That would hurt my heart. So it comes, man. We try to support our guys, but if your guy looks bad and then the next guy steps in and looks good, like it's just a little bit harder to defend him. You can't they didn't change everything else around him and they went out and won. So
I mean, this ain't Evan Neal. It's a little bit different. This is a QB and he went number 1. I mean, y'all okay, wait. Let me ask you how you feel. I don't want to assume. So tell me how you guys feel about Bryce Young. Do you feel like he is an NFL quality quarterback and he can have success in the league in the right situation?
I don't know, man. We're still living off of what we saw at Alabama. He was amazing for us here. So it's kind of like it's hard to separate. And going to Carolina is, I still don't like the way they handled it. I would have had Dalton. I would have had Dalton start last year. I wouldn't have thrown him out there first, So I do think the organization is tough, but they threw Andy Dalton out there and he looked great. So it's kind of hard to defend, anything with Bryce. I do think he still has some value, and I think they can get, but I don't think it's going to be with him. I think he's going to end up having to move on somewhere. So
yeah.
Good. Conversely, Shane, let me ask you a question about Drake May. I think it was either a week or two ago we talked about the benefits of sitting your rookie quarterback and letting him get some. He's not really getting reps, but let him get some coaching and kind of learn the ropes from the sidelines and not be thrown into the fire. How are you feeling about Drake May right now? Because he was drafted pretty high, not as high as Bryce, but he's drafted pretty high. How do you feel about him being in this position? Do you like it? Do you want to see the reverse? What we're talking about with Bryce Young? How are you feeling about Bryce May? It's been a kind of week, baby. I'm sorry. Drake May. How you feeling about him?
Well, I'm calling people the Redskins, so you can't even apologize. I've already done it worse. So you're good. You're good.
I like the Redskins name better. I've always felt that way. I know people were against it, but people who really mattered weren't against it. Problem. But so I can't really call them the Redskins again. That'd be just good nostalgia. I think about Dexter Manley. I can go on, but okay, go ahead. Sorry, Shane.
The Hogs, baby. But I'll tell you, I'm happy in one sense because I predicted that May would get in this game, and then he did, and I caught some internet flack for that. Most people assume that he wasn't going to get a chance, but I agree with Herb. I was not a big fan of May coming out of the draft. I think he's a talented quarterback, but he wouldn't have been the selection that I made. The other thing is, though, I don't think unless you have an offense built and ready to go, that you should start a rookie quarterback.
I agree.
I think it gets shown time and time again. And when Herb is talking, like the thing, I hate to say this because it's bad, juju on this, but with Bryce Young, I always think David Carr. Goes in there and has to play against the offenses, and he's with the Texans, and he took a ton of hits. And Bryce Young has taken a ton of hits. Again, if you're going to do it, you have to do what the Bears did for Caleb Williams. You have to get some offensive weapons, and then look at Caleb Williams. It's still not going well for the Bears.
No.
But he was the choice for them. Exactly. And the problem is that you have a CJ Stroud that looks impeccable, and people didn't rate him as high in the draft as they probably should have. And then he does a great job with the Texans, but the Texans knew what to ask of him. The problem is you have offensive coordinators that take those first-round picks, and then they just open up the playbook and figure, hey, as long as he gets the ball out fast, he's going to be okay. But you don't realize that he's just taking these hits. You don't have an offense that's built around him. They didn't ask CJ Stroud to do a ton. He just proved that he could handle what they asked him to do. And right. Bryce Young, he's had new offensive coordinators each year. They've never protected him. He had a weak wide receiver core at best, and then they
traded away his number one.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I think that the plus side for Andy Dalton is he's been in that with the Bengals. The Bengals for years. I don't know if it's that they hate quarterbacks or what the problem is, but they will not protect their investment. They let their quarterbacks get absolutely blasted, and then they wonder why in the playoffs they lose every year.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't put money into it. We've been talking about that. How long we've been doing the show? We've been talking about that since the beginning of this. That the Bengals don't put money into the trenches. They have not done it. Yeah, and you can go online now and see where they put contract money towards some bodies, but they didn't really take that kind of attention that you should when you know your trenches have been a problem. So you guys and they say, "Oh, we addressed it." No, you didn't really address it. You just got somebody from Walmart at the corner store or the supermarket and put them on the line trying to protect Joe Burrow. They haven't been taking care of this, and it's been a nightmare. But
and you know what? Well, sorry, just real quick because I want to piggyback your point. And the problem with the Bengals was they made the Super Bowl. So then that masks a lot of stuff, and then you're like, "Oh, they're fine. What we're doing is working because we made the Super Bowl." And then where has it been since? Burrow's been knocked around.
I don't think it's working. 0-3 is like this is not good.
Right. Well, but I'm saying you know how it is. Like your team gets one thing of success, and then you don't address any of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hate to bring it up, but we talked about it with the Giants, right? Daniel Jones had that 1 year, right? They made the playoffs, and even I think you said he didn't earn that money based off of one, but they did that. They made the playoffs. They won a game. and that just masked other stuff because they're like, oh, we're fine, let's just keep going. Where there actually are problems that should have been addressed. Bengals are in the exact same category.
Yeah, and I think, and I know Yusuf follows this team because that's one of the teams I follow too because of the head coach. But you take San Diego, where San Diego already had a cornerstone tackle, and they had an opportunity to go up and get a wide receiver. And what do? They pick another offensive tackle.
Yeah,
and they decided we're going to invest in this, and we can pick a wide receiver later on and see what we can do. I don't disagree with, when you have an outstanding weapon, you have to go get, a Marvin Harrison. You have to have a wide receiver number one. But if you're spending all your money on your quarterback and he spends most of the time on his back, I don't care how fast a wide receiver is or how few balls he drops. He's never going to get the ball. Yeah. Look at Malik Neighbors. When they have time to get him the ball, he looks great. But when you have 3 touches because I can't get an offense run, what have you done?
Right. And that kind of goes back to and it's almost like blasphemy to talk about it, but they grabbed Chase when there was a chance to grab a lineman. And then, like I said, you go to the Super Bowl, so it's great, but you see the bad effects of it later. And I mean, you had Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. You got to think that Chase really was a luxury pick with those 3, So. But
there's just so much that happened last week. How do the Raiders feel? This is the team that everybody thought the Panthers would be like 0-16 or whatever, and the Raiders were the team to lose to. I don't know how they could possibly feel.
Oh, back it up. They went into Baltimore and won, and then lose to Carolina. So,
the Chiefs aren't looking good. I mean, they're basically squeaking out wins right now. And I know I said that on multiple shows in the offseason that I don't want to see a three-peat. I wanted to see more competition, especially in the AFC. So kind of hoping for some other teams to rise up, but it's not looking great right now. I'm not saying it's a prediction. It's not looking super great right now. The Cowboys look ineffective. We're going to see them tonight on TNF playing my Giants, but I guess Dak is still the leader. But right now, the leadership seems to be kind of lacking in the organization. I mean, you got so many things that are like surprises. The Niners taking another L. I'm like, wow. Everybody had them predicted to be potential Super Bowl contenders, and they're not looking great. So there's a lot of things. Anything else that I missed? I mean, New Orleans, 3.5 points. I mean, the list is so long of surprises that we don't even have time. We go into the 30-minute mark if I read all this stuff. That's how many things have shocked me. I mean, even the Giants against the Browns found some identity. If they do that tonight, the Cowboys going to be in trouble because they kind of do almost what Michigan does. They found out what their identity was, but they haven't been doing it up until last week. But I mean, historically, their defense has been their strong point, and they work that. They keep the other team, keep the offense down, and they keep a low-scoring game out of it. And they did that with the Browns, which is like, I thought it was impressive, but some people are saying, but they had the Browns preseason being in the playoffs, but now it's not impressive because the Giants, okay, it doesn't seem to be equal. It's kind of up and down, but I like that they found identity, and hopefully they'll continue to show that tonight. Houston, that's a team that I think Herb and I talked about many times, and I think Shane and I did on different shows, and I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I'm going to give Herb props for this because Herb called this. Herb said that he expects a regression with C.J. Stroud and the Texans, and lo and behold, that's not happening right now. This is the regression that Herb was talking about. This is actually happening right now. They seem to be trying to find their way, and it's like, wow, this was your shot to kind of seize the moment, take that division by storm. It's like, now you're going to have to grind and work for a little bit. But
I will say on that point, though, the division looks terrible. So they have some time to find themselves. And another one of the points, maybe the only one in there where you talk about Buffalo, to Roger's point, looks good. The Jags look like the worst team in the league. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know how Peterson survives the whole year, but they look awful, And then you have them combined with Will Levis. Let me see what turnover I could do this week in the Titans. Half your division is already trash, So it's Houston, I think, will definitely go through some pains, especially as being, number one schedule and target on your back. But who we going with now? The Colts, if it's not them? Like, no, because Richardson's already thinking about getting benched. I think you cut him this week, didn't you?
I did cut him, and it was warranted. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about doing it last.
Agreed.
I mean, my eyes, I ain't the foremost expert, but my eyes still work. And what I saw, I'm like, no, I can't use that.
Right.
So,
Right.
I missed Dirty in waivers, so it happened before I got a chance to grab him. But I'm glad I didn't grab him now after what I'm seeing now. So it's just a fun time in the NFL, man. I see the comment from Raj, and I didn't watch a lot of the game. I was out, but if you say the Buffalo was sharp, I just trust you. But they were playing Jacksonville. That's all that I know for sure.
Yeah, it was over so fast. It was just over so fast, you know. And like Trevor Lawrence to make what, 50 million plus. Something's got to happen there.
So were they sharp really, or were they playing Jacksonville?
They were still sharp. Like you can only play who's in front of you. So you can still only play who's in front
offensively,
of you.
I thought it was one of their better performances, even playing the Jaguars. I think the only other one that we didn't mention is Minnesota. Both sides of the ball. I think Kevin O'Connell getting Sam Darnold. Again, that's an offensive coordinator, knowing what your quarterback does well, call the plays that get those players to get the ball in the positions they're best with. And Brian Flores, you know, last year he helped the defense, but this year he finally got some guys that can play. He's a defensive coordinator that loves players that can do the multiple roles. You know, maybe they're not great at pass rush, but they can do enough pass rush. They can do enough coverage. He likes a lot those tweener linebackers, and his defense has been outstanding this year. And Darnold is taking that monkey off his back, you know, proving again, you play for the Jets, you play for the Panthers. When you get to a real football team, you probably can win some games, you know.
Yep. That was the point we made it. We played it. Yeah, but he didn't start for the Niners, though. Like, we're talking about the teams he was actually on. Yeah. Bo actually said this is the best team he's going to get to actually start and play for. So he wasn't shocked at it. And on the Flores side, some guys don't like to hear this, but some guys are just better as coordinators than they are head coaches. You know, like, there's no shame in that. When the guy for the Steelers, like, their defensive coordinator for like 20 years, you know, before he retired a while back, some guys are just better on one side of the ball. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So some guys are just better as coordinators, man. There's no shame in that, Flores. But everybody every week is telling you, dude, man, your schemes are crazy. You know, like, hey, it's working. So love what Minnesota's doing.
It's working. I mean, they've been on the roll. So and there's a couple other things that probably factor into our predictions, but Tampa Bay got dominated by Denver.
Yeah.
Why do we even predict games? I mean, why do we even predict?
My predictions look terrible after 3 weeks. So.
That kind of game. I mean, a lot of them were bad for me. Period. Like I said, a lot of surprises, not in a good way, based on my prediction that we had. I don't want to even go back and see how many I got right. I want to move on past that. But getting dominated by Denver, I mean, who would have thought that would have happened? And then in Baltimore, my issue with them is it's pretty clear. The several things we talked about on this show so many times with Baltimore. But one of the things that I mentioned on multiple shows and platforms that we did, the penalties. My God, why haven't you figured out that you got to be more disciplined in this conference to win and go deep into season? Why you can't figure that out? 105 yards they gave up in penalties. Yeah, they still won and they dominated, but it's like you're not understanding that if the Cowboys were, I guess, in their usual role in a normal place, those 105 yards in penalties would have killed you. It'd have been a difference in the game. It's like, I don't understand why they don't figure that stuff out. And somebody mentioned something about the coach potentially getting fired. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think somebody sent me a message saying, do you think Harbaugh's going to get fired? I'm like, it's going to be really hard to see it.
Yeah.
People said that about Tomlin off and on multiple times, and guess what? It's almost 20 years and he's still there. Mm-hmm. So I think Harbaugh kind of has that. I don't know if pedigree is the right word for it, but I think he has that kind of cachet. It's going to take a lot to get him up out of there. It got to be really, really bad on all levels. But the penalties, it hasn't been solved under his watch. But you guys don't have to comment on that if you don't want to. Just a couple of observations from week 3. But anything else on week 3 before we move on to our topic I think Herb is going to want to discuss?
Well, the only thing about the Harbaugh thing is their record in one-score games is horrible, and they close out games horribly. They're all, like, you get to 28 points and you're just hanging on for dear life. Like, you just can't do that consistently. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's got to get better.
I think the other thing is you mentioned, like, Mike Tomlin. I see Baltimore a lot like the Steelers in this fact, where coordinators get hired at other jobs and you think like, okay, the defense is still playing well, they're on like their 5th choice for defensive coordinator because every other coach has been hired to become a head coach to do something else. Mike McDonald's the last one. He wanted to get Jesse Minter. His brother took him before he could get him. I think that it's tough for them. The defense, like you said, they haven't been as disciplined. I think the offensive line has been a lot more injured and a lot less of a unit than they definitely thought that they were going to into this year. Especially they were planned on, power run game, Derrick Henry, we're going to keep the ball. And that looked good. And then even on their victory, I mean, they tried to give that game away. Yes. I think Baltimore had some serious issues, but I don't think that Harbaugh is that dangerous unless he decides he wants out. I think he would definitely not get let go by the end of this year for sure.
It just flashes for me. And this is a good point, Raj. I didn't know it was 31 penalties. They had 13 last week. So I'm like, he had almost more than half of this number that we're looking at right now for the whole year in one game. Yeah. Come on. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the Bengals, because we've been talking about the Bengals so much. I consistently talked about, like we talked about their weaknesses and their strength and things to be done in a little series that we did on the show. The trenches have always been the issue for me. It's always been the issue. And it's like, you're not solving the trench issue. In Baltimore, this is like, you're not solving the penalty issue. It's kind of the same thing. Hey, Rod said even Herb has more discipline than Baltimore.
Appreciate it, Rod.
Even Herb with the part that's like.
That's what. Love you, bro. Love you, bro.
I don't know. There's always some. I think just saw a story behind this that I don't fully.
For me, this is just shots from the cheap seats being aimed at Herb on this one. I mean,
yes, this is how your brother treats you. That's what that is.
Oh,
just nod and smile. Just nod and smile.
It's awesome, lady. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you in the house as always. Oh man! All right, Herb. So. We're not going to go deep into college football. Time won't allow us to, but I want you to take this opportunity to talk about what should be the game of the week. If it's not, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Honestly, sorry. I thought you were saying go. Yeah.
Well, you can. Number 2, Georgia at number 4, Alabama.
Yeah. And I don't know if you mind me plugging. We're doing our last show about it tonight, 9 p.m. Central.
Okay. All right.
Herbert Ride podcast. We got a crossover with Randy, Georgia podcast. So we're going to bring on some Georgia guys to talk about it, Alabama guys to talk about it. This will be our last time. And then Friday, I'm going to try and avoid all talk about it. If you don't see me online much, that's because I just want the game to get here. You know what I mean? Everybody has broken down everything. It is a huge, huge game. But, man, no matter what you say here, it doesn't matter till they hit the field. You know, we always come up with some X's and O's and blah, blah, blah. So I worried that, with the 12-team playoff would have taken the luster off the game. No, these two teams won it bad, and the team that wins has a leg up, towards the SEC championship. But I'm just looking forward to it. Obviously I'm going to predict an Alabama victory, but that should never surprise you. If you brought in the Chiefs. Yeah. If you brought in the Chiefs and you'd be like, Herb, you versus the Chiefs, I would break down the whole game. I would tell you the Chiefs had the advantage every single where. I'd still say Alabama wins. So that's just how it is. I think we're going to get them this weekend, but, man, I'll be nervous up until the game starts.
Okay. There's a whole lot of Bama. I guess these are all are these official predictions that you see on your show or you guys are –
Yeah, I think every Alabama person is picking Alabama to win, and every Georgia person is picking Georgia to win. The line started like 4.5. It's down to like 2, 1.5, wherever you went. So the game is that. I saw even Josh Pate make his pick, and he picked Bama, but he's like, you can flip a coin. I might pick a different thing tomorrow. I feel like all these takes are fair. I think it's an even matchup. I think it's strength on strength. The Alabama offense versus the Georgia defense are the two strengths of the team.
Okay.
Georgia's offense has been a step behind. Alabama's defense has lost a lot of personnel and they're still learning new schemes. So their statistics are good, but we haven't played the best competition. You know how those are always hard to tell in college after the first couple of games. So I think, if Alabama can hit a couple big shots or get something going on offense, I think they'd be okay. If the defense stifles them and Milroe can't get anything going, I think Georgia wins. Sometimes I think it just comes down to that. Milroe is probably the most important person in this game.
Copy that. Shane, you got a thought on this game? I know I kind of threw it out there, but I wanted to hear hear Herb's take on this. You got any thoughts on the game, Shane? No pressure.
That's no problem. I do. So okay. I think I think Herb hit on it. I think Monroe is the number one in both sides. Like if Georgia can find a way to contain that offense, but I think the defensive coordinators on both sides are really the key on how this game plays out. Kane Womack actually was a coach under Kirby Smart when he was at Alabama. There's a ton of Alabama cross even on that Georgia staff. When Kirby Smart left, he took a bunch of former Tide guys with him. Womack went and became the South Alabama coach and then decided it's a lot better to be the defensive coordinator for Alabama than it is to be the head coach for South Alabama.
That's crazy, but true.
Yeah, I think I go with Herb on this one. I do think that Alabama pulls it out. But the thing for me is that if it does get out of hand, I think Kirby Smart lays it on him. Because I think he wants them to know that now that Saban is not there anymore, that same level of respect isn't going to be shown to Alabama anymore. I think there were some times where Kirby Smart played it because that was still his coach, and I think that that's gone now. So if he has an opportunity to lay it on, I think he will. But I think this is a tight game. I think it's a one-score game in my mind.
You know, Kirby was like 1-5 though against them, so there wasn't a whole lot of chances to lay it on.
Exactly,
so,
and that's why I think that now he sees an opportunity.
Yeah, that's going to wait long to do that. I think in the first few plays, you're going to probably see some of that.
Yeah. Well, their offense hasn't been clicking like they thought, and that's even coming from Georgia fans. I think that they thought because Carson Beck is a top 3 quarterback coming into this year, Heisman favorite, and I think they thought that their offense would be further along than it was. And that's not just a Bama fan talking. That's like I throw this point out to a Georgia guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I agree with you. It's still the defense carrying the day." And like I said, for Alabama, it's the offense carrying the day. So go ahead, Shane. I
think the big thing for Georgia, and I think you see it in the. I don't think they realized how much Brock Bowers protected. He made a lot of plays.
The same point.
That pulled you out of weak spots, and. That's where Carson Beck is finding problems. He is not being able to find that. Ladd McConkey did the same thing. Like they had guys that when you needed a first down, he knew I can pull the trigger. I'm going to get a first down out of those guys. And that's where Georgia isn't able to string offensive plays together. And that's where Kirby Smart's at his best. When his defense gets a time to rest, they control the ball, and then you can let them loose in blitz packages. Yep. Alabama's going to try to turn up the spice on that and not be able to let them do that. And that's where I think it pulls out. I think Alabama gets one more play when they need it because of what's happened in the past. And I think Georgia just doesn't have the horses they need offensively this year.
Yeah. Bob Bowers is a beast. I remember the Auburn game, and there was points where they were like, okay, the only play is drop back and throw it to him. And there was two guys with a third guy near it. And it was just like, that's fine. I'm still getting it. Like he carried them. Yeah. He was, dude, he's probably maybe one of Raj and I's favorite Georgia players ever. I mean, dude's a beast.
Yeah. I know almost that exact player you're talking about, Herb. It was a drag across the middle. He one-handed it behind him, pushed the first defender, and then rocked into the safety that was behind him. And it was like a 15-yard gain. And then after that, it's hand the ball back off to the tailbacks and let's get it.
Dude was just a beast. And I think you hit on it exactly, man. That's just what's been missing from their offense. They need a guy. So
a good buddy of mine, the assistant strength coach out there. So I'm not rooting for the team just because of that. I'm as neutral as you can be. But this is going to be the game of the week for sure. I want to see what happens with that. Bama Talk is in the house. Good evening, sir. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you. Check out your comment here. All right. Says Bama Talk says, excuse me, Vegas doesn't lose money. And the money says under a touchdown. This is going to be a close one. I agree. I was thinking a 3-point differential, but I didn't know who was going to win it, though. But Georgia doesn't have a wide receiver, so you game plan for Ryan Williams.
Yeah. I had a friend actually just say that he didn't think Ryan Williams could have a big game, and I could see them taking him away. I just think we're deeper at wide receiver than people realize. So I think you might see some surprise names. Sorry, Mr. I didn't mean to jump across.
No, you're solid, man. And Rod disagreeing with us, Brock Bowers is the safety net. Every Georgia game I saw, that's what I saw.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think he was probably their first read the entire time.
Yes.
He went in the second and third read.
He was the first read, and then they looked at the second, third. All right, going back to Brock.
That's what I saw. But
Yep.
All right, man. I'm excited about the game. I don't know what time it comes on, but I will definitely be watching. I got to watch a little Michigan, Minnesota. Make sure we take care of business out there. Minnesota played us tough the past couple of years, so I'm not taking anything for granted. But we'll see how that goes. All right, so I want to start a little bit of a new series. Give us a chance to talk about some other stuff. Okay, Kendrick Law.
Yep. That's somebody a lot of guys have been talking about, very underrated, kind of a Debo Samuel-esque kind of person. Mm-hmm. So that's multiple Bama guys are excited about that. So, yeah. And like I said, to be fair, every Bama person thinks they're going to win, and every Georgia person thinks they're going to win. So it's probably about how you think it should be. So whoever you talk to, that's what you're going to get. So
yeah, I ain't texting none of y'all when the game is over. I already know what's going to happen. I already know.
Love those names though. Prentice and Law is a law firm that's going to go crazy this game.
It might as well. Bernard Prentice and Law. I hire him. Sounds great. So before we get into our NFL prediction, I'll ask you guys a question, and we'll probably be doing this as much as we can every week. But best decisions an NFL team has made in the offseason. Now, I know this one's going to be an easy one for you, but if you can, think outside of the box. What's the best decision that the Arizona Cardinals made in the offseason? I know most of them are going to say drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. I know the first couple of weeks, you guys didn't feel that way then. But now you probably feel like, okay, yeah, that was the best thing that they could have done. But what was the best decision that the Arizona Cardinals made in the offseason? And we just have different teams every week, and we'll kind of just give us a chance to analyze a little bit what they've done, basically against what we're seeing right now, and see if it made sense. Is it working out? Is it not working out? So it'd be a little fun exercise for us. What are you guys thinking about the Cardinals?
You can go first, Shane.
Okay. I think there were two things that popped in my head right away. One of them hasn't worked out well. I thought they made a move to try to get a tackle, and that was Jonah Williams. He's out, so he doesn't start for them. Hernandez, a former Giant, he has played well for them this year. But I think the most important thing is they sat down and talked to Kyler Murray and said,
"Oh, you took mine." You're
a jerk. Look, what do we need to do? What are you looking for? What do you need? What plays do you like to see? How can we change this offense so that it fits better for you? The other thing is, I really like McBride. I think he's an underrated tight end. Yes, he plays well for them. As Herb said, when you talk about like Alabama and the wide receivers that they just continuously recruit, it's the same thing. There's some talent and some speed around there in Arizona, but you have to be able to know when to get them the ball. Yes. I thought Kyler Murray this year threw one of the most beautiful balls that I saw on the pass to McBride on the sideline. Murray has the talent, but you need somebody that's going to let him pull the trigger the way that he wants to. He's not built for the, just kind of really chuck it around. He needs a strong run game. He has Connors back there. And I think really just talking to him, sorry to have stole this from Herb, but I swear I didn't look at the cheat sheet.
Yeah, well, the problem is I see where you're looking, and I can see you just kind of peeking down my sheet, man. I don't like it because I was trying to stay away from, like you said, Mr. It's the obvious. Yeah, signing Harrison Jr. was one of the best picks. My follow, I was going to word it a little bit different with Kyler Murray, not just the talk they had with him, but sitting there at the 4 spot, resisting the urge to get up into that top 3 and get maybe a guy that you wanted was the way I thought of it, because they could have put some draft capital together, moved up a little bit, and had Murray as a lame duck guy for next year and groom their next guy. But they said, no, we're just going to go all in with our guy, get him a weapon, and move forward. So I thought that was one of their most important decisions. And to be fair, I tried to look at their other stuff, but it's like their next draft pick, I guess, has already been hurt this year, and the corners only played a cut. So the next couple guys, there's not enough on them to say, did they make good decisions? So you kind of have to go back to that and just saying, all right, Kyler, you're our guy. So.
Yeah, I guess this is the epitome of low-hanging fruit, man. But I love the Kyler Murray slant on this. I was kind of feeling the same way. Yeah, they drafted Marvin Harrison, but why did they do that?
Right.
They did that because of Kyler. And that was the interest that I had, giving him a weapon. I mean, because I think I see the young man's face. I don't forget names very often, so this could be a sign or something. But I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. But that was his weapon before they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. And that was that had.
You talking about like D-Hop or?
It wasn't D-Hop.
Or Marquise Brown? Was it Brown? Hollywood?
Marquise Brown. You know, I'm gonna go get it because I got to get that so I can get that monkey off my back. But no, it wasn't him. But he was a guy that kind of a Murray looked to a lot. It was usually second and third reads. So he looked at him a lot, and he was the one that was kind of he's not even on the team anymore. He moved on to a different team, but I'm gonna find it. But that's what. But drafting Marvin Harrison, that was the kind of thing that it kind of said, you know what, we're going to invest in you. They already invested in him, but his contract is huge. But we're going to invest in you. We're thinking future. We're thinking long term. Like we said about McBride, I agree on that. So they're doing something with the offense. I was a big fan of Trey Benson. I want to see. I haven't seen it yet, but what I've expected, if he steps into that, this team going to be kind of Memphis. I think Shane said this. We were on a different show. You talking about how the Carters are a surprise team, and we all like said, "What? What you mean?" But I see you were spot on, bro. I see what you were saying now. This team can be that.
And you mentioned Yusuf. I stomp on the Cardinals. I have on another podcast said that they shouldn't be a part of the NFL. And I would have been okay if they became a CFL team. It's been a team that I just see that they can't get in their own way. Their front office just makes decisions that make me shake my head. And they had been that way for a while, and I just didn't think of them. I think Herb's point is probably even better than what I said, like talking to Kyler Murray. But I think part of it is not bringing in somebody to compete with him. Let him know you're our quarterback. And I think for him, he needed that. He needed to know, like, I'm going to be the man and I'm going to be the quarterback here for the foreseeable future. I don't have to worry about the fans talking about when are we going to put in Jaden Daniels? When is he going to do it? When are we going to look for the next one? And like I said, I think it's gone well for them. But the same thing is, like, do I see that that's continuing? You know, if Marvin Harrison Jr. continues on the path that he's going to be on, that's a dangerous weapon for years to come. So, I mean, their offense could only get better.
Sure, absolutely. So, and the guy I was talking about was Christian Kirk. That's a guy who's facing it.
Okay.
He's wasting money in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Where careers go to die.
Take that money and know you're going to lose games. I hope it's nice. Tax break in Florida.
Peterson and Balkan still have jobs. I'm crying foul. They have a job before the season's over. I'm crying foul like right now. Something's not right. All right, so week 4, we in it tonight on TNF about 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard. The Cowboys are taking on the Giants. Both are working through some things. One looks a little bit on the upward more than the other one does. Not the team you were thinking though. So let's bust out our predictions, and they would bust out the return of the 5-pack poll. I can't wait. I've enjoyed that so much. All right, so NFL predictions. I'll start from top to bottom. If you got a little bit of an analysis, you go ahead and drop it. We got a little time to do that. All right, Saints at Falcons. Well, it's over TNF. Cowboys at Giants. Who you got?
I went Cowboys. I think both teams are in trouble, but I think they'll be able to pull it together better than the Giants.
I've been looking for a reason to take Giants like all day. And it's like you look at, what is it? They've lost 6 in a row or at 12 out of 13 to them. Like maybe this is the time. Dallas defense looks terrible right now, especially against the run. Listening to a joint podcast about them today, and they're talking about a Singletary underrated. So I at least want to take, like, if I was a betting, I'd want Giants plus the 5.5 or whatever's out there. But man, I'm just going to say Giants so I can oppose Shane and we could be on the opposite side. But, man, I hope for a good game tonight, for real.
Raj says, for fantasy reasons, I want Dak to have a good game.
That's your problem, Raj. Dak Prescott is in your fantasies. That's your problem.
Yeah, that's rough, Raj.
But I'm going with the Giants on this one. If they do what they did last week, I think they'll be fine. Defensively, that was a great departure from what we've been seeing before that. So I'm sticking with the Giants. We'll see what happens. But
can I ask you a Giants question?
I'm playing with house money, so it don't even matter. So it's like whatever. Yeah.
If Daniel Jones has a great year and they keep him around, is that good or bad for the team?
What do you mean keep him around?
Keep him around. Like he earns himself another year.
You mean not draft a quarterback?
Yeah.
That was we got to draft a quarterback. I don't care what he does. We have to draft a quarterback. And actually, the answer to that question is if you draft a quarterback, it's a good thing because then we have what we're talking about with Drake May and what we're talking about that should have happened. Who are we talking about? Wow, I blanked out.
Daniel Jones.
Bryce Young. We would have with Bryce Young. So that's the kind of situation that he'd be into. We didn't see that with J.J. McCarthy. I think it probably wasn't going to happen that way anyways. Darnold probably going to be a starter for a hot minute, and then McCarthy would have been in there. But if Daniel Jones does anything serviceable and we still draft a quarterback, it'd be a good thing. It give the rookie quarterback time to develop. I don't know who that's going to be. People are saying Shador, but I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying, but whoever it is that comes through, it gives them a chance to kind of get their feet wet, understand the game, learn coverage and that kind of stuff, and then put them out there when it's the situation is advantageous. We should have a lot more talent on the offense by then. So I'll say yes to your question. It's good as long as we do draft a quarterback. Whatever happens is good. If we don't draft a quarterback, then that's just inept on management part, and everybody should be fine. But Saints at Falcons. What you got, guys? This is a tough one.
I went Falcons on this one.
I agree with her on
the
this.
home nod. Yeah, seemed like the Saints came crashing down a little bit last week.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened to them.
Yeah, I think it's the Philly defense that's been wide open this year. So yeah, I didn't get that.
I think seeing Carr go down there and get the injuries in, I'm like, oh, and now when we just talking about this in the offseason, when we talking about this, and it just happened again. He fell out and had 3 injuries in one hit. How does that happen to any one person? But go ahead, Shane.
I also think like the one thing that really helped the Saints early on was the run game. Their center McCoy going down, I think really hurt them, especially against Philly, 2 strong defensive tackles. And I can't believe that Atlanta didn't take a good long look at that tape and know that's how we're going to attack them as well.
To Roger's question real quick, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, just because they lean on the running game a little bit more today and they try to bracket Neighbors. So I don't think him going under 100 is like necessarily a bad game on his part. I think it might be more game planning. So.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on that one, and I don't even want that to happen, because what that's going to tell me is that the emphasis is on him, and the other guys that are likely open to are not getting any kind of a love or any targets. So that's not going to be a good situation against it. Even I don't Deron Bland is back on the team on the Cowboys, but the emphasis is going to be on Neighbors for sure. It's going to be Neighbors and Diggs. I'm pretty sure of that. So 100 yards, like, that doesn't guarantee a victory, but I think he was spreading the field. If he got 80, 90 yards and 1 or 2 scores, that's good for the team. So I'm hoping the under on that one, Raj. All right, Bengals at Panthers. Wow. This is actually a tough game to decide now.
I mean,
can the Bengals go 0-4? I mean, yeah.
So before with the Bryce Young thing, I would have been rooting against the Panthers, but now I'm rooting against the Bengals. So I'm taking the Panthers to light up that defense and get a ridiculously crazy win.
Somebody's getting fired.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
At halftime.
James, Panthers or Bengals?
Panthers. I agree with her the same way.
I'm doing the same
next
thing.
one I'll just pick against them just for the fun of it. But
yeah,
I think the same thing. I saw the Bengals implode at the end of that game against Washington, and I don't see them picking up the pieces. I think neither wide receiver wants to be there anymore. I think Joe Burrow is wondering what's happened with my offense. Why did you let every running back I had get away? I've lost an offensive tackle. This isn't fun anymore. It's a good thing I'm getting paid. And why did I cut my hair? I think it's all coming to a head for him. The Bengals are going to get buried.
Yes. How do you ignore your offensive line to draft a wide receiver and then not keep that wide receiver happy? Like, what is the strategy? What is the strategy?
And not only not happy, I mean, Jamar Chase said that, like, you lied to me.
Yes.
You know, not even like, hey, you're not paying me, but you told me that this was going to happen, and then now it's not happening.
Yes.
And then you have,
Higgins.
Higgins comes up with an injury, and then he's okay, and then now he's not okay. And, I mean, I don't know what's happening. It's bad. I mean, as bad as Callahan must feel watching Will Levis just turn the ball over in a new amazing way every single week. I mean, he has to be happy to be outside of that offense right now.
All right, we got to keep the train moving, so we got to hit.
All right, my bad.
A little less commentary. All right, so Rams at Bears. I'm going Rams. Who you got?
Rams.
You guys Tristan and Caleb's?
Whatever's left of the Rams.
Oof, yeah.
Come on,
I'll go Bears. I think they pull it out this one.
Ooh, nice. Okay,
I think the Rams
Packers.
are super injured.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Vikings. I'm thinking of the Aaron Jones revenge tour right now. So I'm going Vikings in this one against Packers.
I want
Aaron
Packers
Jones-
to go ahead and end the streak. And Darnold might be a little banged up, so I don't know about his mobility this week. I know they said he's okay, but I'm going Packers at home.
Okay, I did see
went
that.
Vikings.
Good. Jags at Texans. I'm picking Texans because I
Come
don't
on.
know what else to do. It's not confidence. It's just like I don't know what else. What should I do? Is there a third option? What else should I do here? So I'm going Texans. Shane, who you got?
Texans.
Yes. Just put me down for anti-Jags every week.
Got you covered. I'm going Steelers at Colts.
Steelers.
I'm not trusting Rich. I'm going Steelers here. How about you? Low scoring team, 18-10.
Yes.
All right, Broncos at Jets. This is going to be a close game. I'm going Jets though, but it's going to be close though.
Agreed.
I think the Broncos got something going. They got a little formula. All right, this one's a tough one. I don't know what to do here. Eagles at Buccaneers. They both look bad. I'm gonna go Eagles because I think the Buccaneers look worse than the bad we saw in Philly. But that's all I got. I don't have a great explanation. I'm going Eagles here. How about you guys? Eagles.
I'm
Bucks.
going Philly, but I don't know who's catching passes this week. But I'm going Philly.
That's why I went Bucks. I trust the offense more in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. You don't trust them more. You trust the Eagles less.
Ooh, that's a good point, Herb. That's a good point. I may have misspoke right there.
This is another tough one. Unless you guys get the one first, I don't have an answer. Commanders at Cardinals. I don't know. It's a tough
First
one.
to 40 wins. Both teams are hitting 30. I'm going with Washington, Jane Daniels to keep it rolling.
Okay.
Like Herb said, I take the over, but I went with the Cardinals. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a
First
shootout.
stop wins. He went Cardinals. I went Commanders. So which of us do you like more? You can just go with. That's fine.
Yeah, just tell us who's the favorite.
That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going pure football. I'm going with the Cardinals here for.
He likes Shade more.
Just we got to win. Nope.
Oh.
Pass at Niners. This is also a tough one. The Niners are not looking good. I don't understand because everybody's there except McCaffrey. But I'm going Niners here to beat the Patriots. But
no Debo, no Kittle.
Yeah.
I'm still going Niners, but they're banged up. And no Ayuk. He's out spending money. So, I mean, he's playing, but he's on the sideline doing this.
He's what Jamar Chase wishes he was doing.
Yes, yeah.
This is together now. This is his week to get that thing right because he ain't been looking good the past couple of weeks.
He looked terrible. Juwan Jennings is taking over somehow.
Just that happened last year too. Strangely enough, wide receiver 4. If anybody ever was one, he was a wide receiver 4, and he gets so much love.
Yeah,
I heard a podcast this week that said when Jennings does well, the 49ers will lose. So as soon as you guarantee that he gets 100 yards, it's a guaranteed loss.
What are we learning from this is the question.
Oh,
right. Chiefs at Chargers. I'm going Chiefs. It hurts me, but the Chiefs are looking bad, but I don't think they're going to be that bad because the Chargers offense has been sputtering a little bit. I heard Joe Alt is hurt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Herbert's
banged up too, though, right? Yeah. I mean, he's playing, but he's not 100%. Yeah, I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, I ain't doing Easton Stick. You know what I'm saying Harbaugh's the man, but I don't think he can turn that around. He's not JJ.
Yeah, he should be a video game character, not a quarterback.
A lot of tough games on this schedule, man. It's going to be a fun weekend.
It is.
Browns at Raiders. I don't even know. I would just say Browns. I don't even know what's going to happen here. I'm just going Browns, and I'm cool with being wrong, but the
Raiders. I'll go Raiders. They play good every other week, so this is a good week. I'll go Raiders.
Fair enough. Okay.
Sure, makes a good point there. I can't pick the Deshaun Watson quarterback team, so
thank you.
I go Raiders as this as well. I think if Cleveland just ran the ball and didn't let Watson make decisions, they'd probably be in a much better spot. But
that's what we'll go
Raiders. I think Max Crosby has a big game.
All right, Bills at Ravens. Bills at Ravens. I'm going Bills.
I'm going Ravens because they're at home, but Bills are playing better, and I'll probably regret this pick. Probably in the fourth quarter when, Lamar throws a ridiculous interception or something stupid, and Josh Allen goes and makes him pay.
0-4 is not a good situation, but
no,
nothing's gonna happen. Okay, we got 2 Monday night games.
Wait, the Ravens have won one. You said 0-4.
I thought they were.
No, remember they beat Dallas.
They beat Dallas, yeah.
After that, that's right. You talked about it a few minutes ago.
Yeah. But it's still, I mean, your point's still valid. Your point's still valid. Like,
Yeah.
they don't need to lose this game the way they've already lost. You know, you started off this year.
This is what happened to me here.
You're good. Right. Hey, but we got your back. We got your back.
Okay. So 2 Monday night games. All right. So I'm loving that. 2 Monday night games. That's great to me. I love it. Titans at Dolphins. Now, I know Rogers is going to pick the Dolphins. I respect you for doing that. I don't know how you pick them, though, when you're talking about Skyler.
No, Tyler Huntley is getting the start now.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm picking the Dolphins just because the Titans are awful in their opponent.
I didn't know, but I haven't seen it. What, that came out today?
I feel like they've been talking about it for a minute, but I know I saw the alert come across on one of them.
I didn't hear about that. Let's keep moving. So I'm going Dolphins. Now that I know that Tyler's going to be in there. I looked him at the backup Lamar. It always looked good. Shane, Dolphins or Titans?
I go Dolphins because the Titans will find a way to lose.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's good. Lions. I'm going Lions here.
Going Lions. Like them at home.
Despite last week, I'm going Lions. I think they can turn it around. Shane, I know who you like.
I went Lions as well. You know, I think offensively and defensively, they're an all-around better team. I think the Seattle Seahawks have an opportunity to get better, but they're not right now.
Lady Alpha with the comment of the night. I saw a guy in a Bengals t-shirt that said I was tempted to ask them if they knew because they certainly aren't playing like they do. I love it. That is comment of the night. I love it. All right, we are back. The 5-pack. Oh, it's back in the house. Man, we have so much fun with this when we do it. And the cool part is if you're a math whiz and you're a geek like myself, you got 32 teams and 5 teams a week, we can do this forever. The math bears out. We can just swap. This can never end. I think the number I saw was like 2,633,000 times we can do this. Just keep changing stuff out. I love it. But this week we're going to do 5 teams: Seattle, Minnesota, Denver, Washington, and Cleveland. So we're doing the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Browns, and the Commanders/Redskins. All right. So our 5 categories: wins their division, dead last in their division, play in Super Bowl in the next 3 years, in full rebuild in the next 5 years, or first round playoff exit. I'll be honest, it took me 2 hours to come up with an answer for this. Honest. So we come out of the gate with a tough one already. But who wants to start first? It's not going to be easy for anybody, but it's fun though. So who can be first? And we close our show out after we give our predictions here. Who's going first? Not everybody all at once.
Up to you, Shane. You let me know what you want to do.
So are we going to go down the full rundown? So give our full top 5.
Yep.
Just the first one.
Okay, I'll take.
Last time you told each person to give all 5 of theirs. If we're switching up, that's fine. Yeah.
Go ahead, Shane. Run them all down.
I'll take the rookie run then. For win the division, I went with the Washington Commanders. In the next run, dead last, I went with Denver. I don't think they have the answers. Super Bowl in 3 years, I thought Minnesota. Complete and utter rebuild, I went Cleveland. And with the playoff exit, I went to Seattle Seahawks because I think they'll be good enough to make it, but never good enough to win.
Herbo, what do you think, bro?
I like it. We were similar in a lot. The similarities were Minnesota Super Bowl in 3 years. Especially love the defense. And then if you go to Darnold and then JJ comes along, you've got a good shot with your quarterback. You've got great wide receivers. So they were my favorite out of these. Cleveland, the rebuild. As soon as you get off the Deshaun Watson contract, you can tear it down. You actually have some money to do something. So I can definitely see that one. So I mixed it up a little in the middle. I gave Seattle winning the division. Gotcha. And they are 3-0 right now. San Francisco continues to be banged up. Rams be banged up. You know what the Cardinals are. There is a path to them actually getting there, even this year. Washington's kind of cheating. I went last in the division. I know they did beat the Giants, but they're starting a rookie quarterback and they're still the Commanders. So Denver, I gave them.
We didn't have a kicker, so yeah, whatever.
Denver, I went with the first round exit. So they squeak into the playoffs with some crazy performances, win the wild card, lose first round.
Well, I'll be close with you guys. I like it. Took me a while to get here, but I got to the Seahawks winning the division. Like you said, there's a path to it. I thought the Niners were going to be doing something different than what they are right now. They're struggling, and they got their main guy out for potentially 8 weeks, perhaps even longer. Depends on what the German doctors are saying. full rebuild. I'm going with Denver. I kind of feel like we're still trying to work towards getting some stuff straight. They haven't had a signature defensive guy through the draft beside Patrick Surtain in quite a while. They haven't had a signature O-line guy. I know Garrett Bowles was supposed to be that, but never really seen the pan out. So I think full rebuild within 5 years for Denver kind of makes sense to me. Dead last in the division, I'm going with the Commanders. Kind of hard to not say that based on the options that we have. We'll see how that goes, though. Play in the Super Bowl in the next 3 years. I'm going with Minnie on that one. I think the Vikings are going to be have the potential to do that. Maybe even this year may be an option for them. I don't know what happens in years beyond now, but right now it looks that way. The whole quarterback thing you mentioned, not sure how that changes things or helps things. We'll see between Darnold and JJ. We'll see how that looks. But first round playoff exit is going to be Cleveland. And they've kind of been in that spot for a little while now. Every time we have a 5-pack and they're in it, you didn't be the first round playoff exit. It's like a lot of it is because of what's going on at quarterback. And not defense. Defense has been fine, but it seems like the offense is one of the reasons why that usually turns out to be a first round playoff exit. They play some tough teams in the AFC, and you got to match up. And we're talking about them not putting in the right draft capital and putting the right money in towards key situations. They still haven't done that with the Bengals. So first round playoff is being generous, in my opinion. I'm not even sure it's going to even happen this year. But that's the best shot I got for that one. So great show, guys. This has been fun. Are you guys excited about TNF? I am not quite sure. If I can walk through with both eyes, I'm
always excited about football. I think we're going to see a good game. So I'm excited about it. When it's not my team playing, I just want a good, close, high-scoring game. So
yeah, I mean, what do you guys do when it is your team playing? Are you guys like, do you take a breather and turn the channel when things get crazy, or do you like step away and walk away?
Honestly,
do a little bit of all that stuff. I have to. It's my maintain my.
I change clothes. Try to change the move. I do, man. You'll see look, the worst games. You'll see a pile of Alabama clothes.
But watching it all the way through.
I'm watching it all the way through, man.
You're like, oh, Herb just went to the quarter zip. That's an interception. We're in trouble. Let's get it changed up.
I mean, you change clothes until something good happens, man. So,
all right.
One of the only game that I may have not made it all the way through was Alabama Clemson, the national championship, where like at halftime I knew we weren't coming back. We got the ball with like a minute and a half, 2 minutes left in the first half, and we just knelt out the clock. I was like, oh, we've given up already. And third quarter started bad. There
was no blowout, man.
It was like 44-16. That game was just bad. So Raj remembers Mom had him putting up Christmas decorations in the second half. he was packing them up, because we were at her house. He was packing up Christmas decorations in the second half. So
wow.
That might be the only game I didn't make it through.
That game was out of hand, I guess.
Man, we got our butts whooped. Like, just plain and simple. You know how people break down X's and O's? There were no X's and O's. We got whooped.
Real quick before we get out of here, do you guys want to talk about the whole 4 horsemen thing? You want to hold it up for offline? How do you guys feel about that? People are listening now, so do we want to get into that?
You guys, I have no idea, so that'd be on y'all. I'll listen though. I'll cheer you guys on. I love y'all, man. I got your back.
We'll talk about it offline. No, that's okay.
Oh man, go for it.
I knew it. That's all right. But thank you guys for joining us. It's been a fun show as usual. NFL keeps us excited. A little college thrown into. We're having a good time. Enjoy TNF tonight. I'm going to do my best to try to do the same thing. We'll see how it goes. My finger's going to be on the clicker. I don't know. I ain't making no promises. We'll see how it goes. But have a great day. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.